Welcome to the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. I'm your host today, Steve Vegvar, and alongside me is my good pal, as always, Bobby. How are you this week?
Okay. You know why though? And
Why is
then
that?
you know why.
Do I know why?
June 13th.
We've done it. Shake Shack is
Shake
opening in
Shack.
Toronto, June 13th, the long-awaited grand opening of the first Shake Shack in Canada. What a great time. What a great
The,
time to be alive.
the hierarchy of fast food has changed in
It
Canada.
really is. I
There
mean,
is no more McDonald's tier. It's now just Shake Shack and the others.
yeah. I
It
mean,
literally
at
has.
one time, Five Guys held the number one ranking in Toronto of smash burgers. Still love them. Still have a near and dear place in my heart. But now Shake Shack coming in, real game changer, real Black Adam situation here.
This is us asking for an invite to the launch and getting some preferential treatment from Shake Shack because
Yep.
that's what we're trying to do here.
I
That's all.
Sponsorships.
Yeah,
Yeah. Invites, free meals, free vouchers, anything that they want to pass along to us.
I'll take a T-shirt.
A t-shirt even, yeah.
I'll take a T-shirt.
Magnet.
But if they look at your Oreo commercial, they should probably do that and then say, "Hey, we're gonna hire Steve to do our next commercial," and
I'm taking
that's
requests.
it. You're gonna
Anyway,
be the next editor.
I would
Sure.
like that a lot. Yeah, I would like that a lot. I would like to bring you in as well. I'm sure we could come up with a killer Canadian marketing ad for Shake Shack.
Yeah,
Call
I'm
us.
ready for this. I'm
Call us.
yeah. Call. You know where we are.
Yeah,
We're in Toronto.
we're here. We're making podcasts every single week, and we thank you all for tuning in and listening. I mean, we're weeks away from Summer Game Fest right now. Summer Game Fest. We got the Xbox Game Showcase. We've got the Ubisoft Forward. As the time this is released, we've already had a state of play. What's
Yeah.
been in that show? I have no idea because that's how time works. But that being said, our friends, our family over at PlayStation Generation, they're going to have a whole breakdown. Go over to those podcast feeds or even on the Creature Cast YouTube channel
Yeah.
as they react to all the news coming out of that. But when we look ahead towards Summer Game Fest, you and I are going down to LA. We're going to do some really great content down there, some reaction, some hands-on stuff as well. So that's
All the
going to be a
good
lot of
stuff.
fun. And we're
I'm.
probably going to get Shake Shack as well.
We're gonna get Shake Shack. I know that's an in and out town, but I don't betray my brands. I stick with Shake Shack,
Yeah,
and that's basically what I'm going to be injected with for 3 days. I'm going to be eating Shake Shack every day, and then I'm
that's
going
right.
to burn it off walking around.
Burning
So
off,
yeah,
walking around,
Shake
playing
Shack,
lots of
do it.
games, sitting in some auditoriums, being beamed in the eyes with new trailers and stuff like that. So we got a whole slew of content on the horizon for all of y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned as we go down to Summer Game Fest and
Mhm.
all the subsequent events as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But before we get to all of that, before we get to all the travel and whatnot, Bobby, what have you been playing recently?
So the top level stuff is
Yeah.
basically XDefiant. I mean,
Mm,
everyone's talking about this free to play shooter, and
yep.
overall, I think it's okay.
Hmm.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done. For a free to play, it's great, but to its contemporaries, there's just a lot of improvement. I feel like that Ubisoft can bring into the game. So,
Yeah.
um, I've only done a couple of matches so far. I think about like 4 or 5 matches, and they're all kind of, I guess they're domination matches. I did one escort match, but is
Okay.
there team deathmatch? Is that available in this game? I haven't found one yet.
Yes and no. So there's 5 different match types in the game. There's a domination, there's a control, there's an escort,
Yeah,
like you said.
those are the ones
Um,
I've done.
and then there's one that's almost a team deathmatch, but it's more of in Call of Duty, it's the one where you collect dog tags. But it has like a
Oh,
little
kill
bit of a
confirmed.
spin to
Yeah,
it. Kill confirmed, yeah. It has a little bit of a spin on it where um, if you collect a certain amount of dog tags, you become the hot shot of the
yeah.
match, and you get marked on the map, so everyone kind of knows your position. Your team is expected to protect you, while the other team then can pinpoint you. But at that point, if you are the hotshot, you have like faster reflexes. You can move. Your reloads are faster and stuff like that.
Okay, so that stuff is cool. I haven't experienced it yet, but what I have played, I do like it.
Mhm.
But I feel like the biggest complaint I have is it's not punchy enough. It just doesn't feel satisfying to play it. And there are small things like I'm used to playing Call of Duty. We all kind of
Yes.
lead that precedent. I'm used to hearing footprints. I'm used to hearing,
Mm,
you know, the environment telling where people are. In this
yep.
game, it's kind of like I'm walking around and I'm getting shot at, and I'm like, where is it coming from?
Yep.
And that's a big deterrent for me because I mean that's kind of like the bread and butter of playing these games. It's sit rep, knowing where everything is, understanding the layout, and generally I do like the game's maps. Like they are good, but that whole situation of not knowing where things are coming from, it really drops this game down a bunch of pegs for me. But I do like it. It is fun. It is a free to play game, so I can't complain too much. I mean, it has the capacity to grow, and I feel like if Ubisoft is going to push this game as their next big title, they have to support it. So
That's right.
let's look at For Honor. Like For Honor's still going. If they do what they did with that game, I feel like this is going to be a really big shooter. It could be competitive. It probably
Yep.
will be, but right now it's feels like an early access game. And I know that's what it is, but it definitely feels like it is what it is.
No, that's exactly true. And I think to your point, I mean, look at even Siege. That game's still
Yeah,
going and has a great
that's what I never got
community
into.
around it.
That's what I
Um,
never got into. I've tried. It's just you have to be there at the beginning. I feel like, and
That and you
because
have to be a Siege player, like,
yeah,
you have to be in it to win it kind of thing. It's not like a casual game anymore, I think it's long like, the same with Rocket League, I think now it's ascended into now it's just a competitive game versus a casual game.
and that's
Uh,
great. But yeah,
yeah,
it's just like it feels like if you're not on the mark at the beginning, you're going to be left behind. I
yep,
don't see that happening with this game. It's too casual for that to
for
be
now, yeah.
super hype, super hyper focused, but it is also something I'm worried about because Hyperscape was
Mm,
Ubisoft's big shooter, and I liked that game, but look what happened to that. It was gone within a year. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I do like it. I'm gonna be playing it for the next couple months. I mean, Black Ops 6 is out in like what 6 months, so that feels like it's a good time to just catch up on what I've missed because there's just so many good shooters out there that I haven't given enough attention to. And with Destiny out, I have to go back to that, and then I
yep.
want to go back to Battlefield because Battlefield's still great. I know that it had a couple of growing issues when it launched a couple years ago, but it feels like it's back to where it should be. So I'm going to be checking that out, and I'm
Mm,
just craving a good shooter,
yep.
and it's hard to find one these days.
Uh, I agree, and largely, I mean, I'm also playing that was weird. I played probably 20 matches or so of XDefiant, and I largely have the same complaints and same just
Worried.
issues with the game. Yeah,
Worried.
it's got quirks, and really, I think yeah, largely there's a good foundation there. I do think that for a shooter, a free to play shooter, it's competent. It has really everything you need out of a shooter. I think it's great that it has, loadouts built in already that you can
Yeah,
start unlocking attachments for different weapons. It's got the interesting classes. I think, launching with the
that's
Libertad, the Phantoms, Echelon, the Cleaners, DedSec, you really do have a wide spread of Ubisoft classes there, going from everything from Far Cry to um,
Splinter Cell.
Division, Splinter
Oh,
Cell. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just curious. Are they going to be adding more? Like, are we
I
going to
hope
see more
so.
assassins? Because the assassins feel like
That will be
a
interesting.
shoe in, right? And like, yeah, no. Overall, I think it is a great game. I think the fact that it's free to play is probably the best thing about it because if it was a paid game, it would not go far. I feel like it's too saturated the market these days,
Yeah.
and there's just too many games clamoring for your attention. But
And I think
I
that's working in its favor and against it as well, because I do think that, yeah, it has a lot of just baked in issues. The audio, for instance, isn't great. I think the fact that, yeah, there's no directional audio for gunfire, there's no footstep audio. That's a huge detractor. Like I'm locked in when I have headphones on, and I'm just hearing, the announcer, and I'm hearing environmental effects, and it's not feeding into the competitive nature. I don't feel like I'm competent in running around and knowing enemy positions and where they're hiding, where they're coming from, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really frustrating when there's an enemy right around the corner. It's like I should have known you were there. Knowing that you're not even just like camping, is that you ran up on me around the corner and I didn't even hear you. So it's like stuff like that. I think the time to kill is relatively good across the
Yeah,
board. I think,
that's great.
yeah,
But it's small things. It's just like you said, the footprints. You can't crouch. I feel like that needs to happen. I don't know if it's
right.
going to. Crouching is a big part of my game. Like, I do crouch. I use that in Call of Duty extensively.
Hmm.
Here, I'm tapping circle and it's doing nothing. So it's like I'm kind of trying to compensate that with other ways, but there's not much else I can do. It's like you can't really you can't hide behind things. You can kind of, you know, disappear behind them, but there's no cover fire. There's nothing, and I don't think it needs it. But crouch is the one thing I would say it has to be at some point because it
Wait,
makes
you
a
can
big.
crouch
How do you crouch? Because I've never been able to crouch.
just with the B button or circle button on PlayStation. Yeah,
No, because I've never. It doesn't work for me.
yeah, you can crouch. You just can't go prone. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
I maybe it was my matches, but I was not able to actually crouch down. It would not
Oh,
let
that's
me.
super weird. Yeah, no, you can definitely crouch. You can also slide. Because I
Sliding,
did.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do lots of that, but crouching specifically, I'm saying because I was trying during domination matches and like I would try to cower behind something just so I wouldn't get shot, and it would not work. It was just he was standing there, my guy, and that's it.
Oh,
And it's
interesting.
weird. It was really weird. But if you're telling me it's there, I'm gonna maybe try it on
Am I
Xbox.
just
But
like making that up right now? Now I'm like second guessing me.
I actually have to look it up because I'm telling you, I could not crouch.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can definitely crouch. Okay, I'm not just it wasn't just a fever dream. Yeah, you can certainly crouch. It's
Then
yeah, because yeah,
maybe it's my game. But I mean I'm a big slide cancel person, and I'm trying
same.
to do that, and it's not working.
No,
But
the slide cancel really doesn't work in the game. I think largely it's just there is a nice slide to it. You get some distance. You get you be a little twitchy with the game as well, but it's not like Call of Duty where the movement is so precise. And I think, year after year, I come on to this show and I have qualms with Call of Duty and the changes it makes and everything. But it takes a game like XDefiant to come out for me to be like, oh, Call of Duty is still like S tier in
I know,
online shooters, because they
yes,
just nail the little things.
but
And
what I want to say
yeah,
is EA has the perfect opportunity to, and they have had the perfect opportunity with Titanfall. Like
mm,
Titanfall is still
yeah,
for me is S tier. Like that is the best first person shooter I've ever played, just because of how precise it is and the fact that they had the parkour mechanics and the
yep,
jumping. They nailed it, and that's partly because obviously who made the game, but like that is my pinnacle of first person games and controls. And Call of Duty is very close second to me.
that's fair. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't feel like that's hyperbole. I mean, Titanfall 1 was, I spent probably like 2,000 hours playing that game. It was my game. And
I
I don't think
really
I've ever played any Call of Duty as close to that.
Oh, really?
Time spent in it, yeah, no. But I don't know, it just clicked with me in a way that no shooter ever has before. And it was just the fact that the multiplayer was just like, it was perfect. And it was perfect because of how good it handled.
Yeah. No, they definitely knocked it out of the park. It's a shame that now it's just kind of reduced to Apex Legends, but
Which is not a knock on that game. I do
no.
believe Apex is a good game. I mean, obviously, it's been around now for 6 years, but it's not for me. Titanfall nailed what they wanted to do, and it's sad it never caught on to the levels of Call of Duty because it is as good as Call of Duty. The
That's true.
maps were incredible. I feel like the Titans were great. It added a level personality to the typical first-person online game that few games still have been able to do. Like, I don't think there's anything that's come close to it since then.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up about XDefiant was, and I think again, this kind of plays into it being free to play. They want to, tap you for all the time that they can. I think the progression system is very slow in terms of
Yeah,
leveling up individual weapons to unlock new attachments, and then also leveling up your different classes. I think it's just very slow. Like I've played 20 matches right now, and largely I've concentrated most on using the LMG, probably leveled it up to level 4, and maybe I'm level 10 out of at least a level 50. I know that there's an achievement for getting to level 50, but yeah, I just feel like right now the carrot at the end of the stick uh to get me to play more advance, progress through the leveling systems. It's just too slow for me right now, especially
yeah,
when I'm used to the Call of Duty or even Halo has a great progression system, I find, but XDefiant just feels very, very sluggish.
yeah. That's exactly what I feel too. It's not what I'm there for. I feel like the closest game that I kind of brought the battle pass to was I think it was Modern Warfare 2. But
Mm,
before, yeah, I mean that was a good progress system. This one has nothing for me. It
no,
really does nothing for me. It really is a free to play game. And you can tell the battle pass is intended for people who want to spend all that time playing it. I don't. I mean, obviously, it's not a game I want to spend 3 or 4 hours a night playing, but that's what I feel like it's catered to. But it's also something that's doable. I mean, I've seen posts on Reddit kind of just saying like, you don't have to spend money if you don't want to. You just have to invest your time. Whereas a lot of games are the opposite. You have to spend money instead of your time. So like I'm
yeah,
thankful that is the case. Like that is a bonus. That's always a plus for me. I'm just trying to find the trade off, and the trade off is time versus money. And
sure,
I feel like that's a benefit for people who want to play this game. And I'm seeing it is pretty packed. Like I think at the time of today, so today's May 30th. I think they had 700,000 to 800,000 people across the board playing this game, which is insane. That's pretty good for a launch.
that's good. Yeah, it's
So
not
there is an
awful.
audience. There is going to be people who are completing this battle pass, and like I am seeing on Reddit, like I said, people have completed the pass already, and that's insane to me.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, it
So
is a preseason battle pass, so it's definitely
yeah,
shortened. I just looked it up right now. In the US, it's $10 to purchase the battle pass. Probably like 12, $13 here in Canada. I won't be
whatever.
buying it personally because, like you, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't care about the cosmetics. Whatever.
I don't think I've ever bought a battle pass. Actually, no, I did. I bought Halo Infinites when it first came out because the
Yeah.
hype was just insane. You remember how that was? So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that burned me. I haven't bought one since, just because I mean I feel like it's not something that I probably want to invest my time in. There's just too many games for battle passes these days for myself, and I'm sure you
That's
understand.
true.
Within the next couple months, we're going to be playing at least a dozen incredible games. So it's like
Yeah.
to have to worry about loading up another game to play a couple hours for a battle pass. Just yeah, no, sorry.
It's true. I mean, I bought the battle pass for Call of Duty Season 3 and played one night. That's
See,
I haven't been invested in Call of Duty very recently, so but
yeah. So I mean, it's. I'm glad that that stuff is there, but yeah,
sure.
for what it is, cool. There
Yeah,
is
if
an
that's your
audience.
game, have
Yeah.
at it. Yeah. Any other lingering thoughts on X Defiant?
I mean, no, I think it has the legs to stand on. Now is this Ubisoft's turn to show up and support it. I mean, I
Yeah.
really, like I said, I did like Hyperscape when it launched. It's just a shame that it didn't get the support it needed.
Yeah.
So I would like to say let's revisit this game in about 6 months to see what happens and whether it's still around. But I really hope it is. It is fun.
It is
Ultimately,
fun.
if you're not playing Call of Duty, this is a pretty good alternative if you don't want to spend any money.
That is true. Yeah, if you're looking for a new kind of shooter, one that is back to the basics of here's five very historical match types. It does remind me of early Call of Duty days, and I think the interesting twist is having those classes, having, each of them have different abilities, different loadout builds and stuff like that, ultimate abilities, which I'm not
Yeah,
entirely sold on. I don't think that competitive multiplayer games like XDefiant or Call of Duty need to have abilities and ultimate alts and stuff like that. But that being said, so far, I think they're well balanced. I don't think that they're
He is miserable.
or
yeah,
anything like that. But yeah, aside from that, I think it's worth at least checking out, and I hope Ubisoft kind of massages this game and gives it a little bit of love over time, kind of fixes stuff like audio and adds new maps, adds new modes, adds new classes. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on this game. I do wonder if I'll be playing it in a couple weeks or months, but for right now, it's chipping away
yeah.
at some of my time. That's all I can say.
It's a good. I basically use it as like an appetizer before I jump into my main game for the night. So a
Yes.
couple matches, and then I move on, and like, it's been perfect for that. So like, yeah, great for that.
It's true. It's true. Um, the other game, I don't know if you've been putting much time into, Bobby, but I've been playing quite a bit of MultiVersus, um,
Right,
the new platform fighter game from Warner Brothers, almost their Smash Brothers Ultimate, where all these different Warner Brothers characters that you know and love are in it to win it.
right,
Yeah, it's come out of beta. People might remember that they soft launched it last year for a set amount of time, and then after they had this whole like beta season, they took it off the marketplace, and then said, "Hey, we heard you guys. We're gonna dress the game. We're going to look at how we can balance it, add new content, add new characters, and what the game looks like post an official launch."
right.
Now they've officially released it, and I have some pretty positive things to say, and then some pretty negative things to say as well. Unfortunately, I think this a similar it's very reflective of the same things we're talking about XDefiant. It's a free to play game that you can jump into. All of your progress, if you had played the earlier beta, it carries over, which is nice. If you bought into like the founders edition of the early beta, all of your in-game currency and stuff like that carries over, which is awesome. I was very happy to see that. um, but right now it's in a kind of a mishmash state. I'm playing it on Xbox, and right now the servers are kind of bugged where mid-match things will lock up completely for seconds on end. For both players, it's not just like one player lags and the other is just able to wander around the platform and stuff like that. No, the game itself just hard locks for a couple seconds and then kind of catches up and stuff like that. So that's kind of annoying to see. There's also this weird issue where the player base is inconsistent. So some matches I'll jump in and I'm like, okay, I know I'm up against a real player. We're going toe to toe, or even two versus two. We're going toe to toe. I'm clowning out Shaggy and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. And then the match right next to, I'm up against an AI, and I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm just there's no challenge here. It's not even reacted to me fighting. It's not even reacting to my moves. Like it's night and day knowing that I'm up against another player and then up against just an AI that's kind of there as like a dummy almost. So it's kind of frustrating just playing match to match and not knowing, hey, am I going to be entertained by this game, or am I just going to brute force my way through this match in hopes of the next one being paired up with another player? The other frustrating thing is if you get matched up with an AI and you're just sitting there. And I remember being up against two real fighters, and I just have Morty next to me, and he's just standing there the entire time, just taking
Yeah,
punches. I'm like, all right. I guess I'm losing this match because I'm doing all the heavy lifting. Have you been playing MultiVersus at all?
no, and I was very I actually have it on my Steam Deck, my PlayStation, and my Xbox, and I've just been kind of listening to what everyone's been saying. So I mean, no, I'm gonna say no, but for
Yeah.
good reason. I mean, there's articles online everywhere. You can see there's at least a dozen articles I've read over the last couple days, and there are a lot of people concerned with what this game has turned into. And from what you've said, it doesn't seem like it's gotten better. It has actually gotten a lot worse. If you go to the MultiVersus Reddit, there is a couple of pin posts from people who obviously know the game a lot better than you and I, but they basically broke down all the things that have been changed for the worse. And I'm surprised at it because there is a lot of stuff that's actually gotten worse. And that's not what I want to play this game for, because when I played it with the beta last year, and I'm sure you remember, it was really good. It was like fantastic.
Yeah.
It was almost as good as Smash for what it was offering. And now it just seems like they've changed everything. Like they've gotten rid of the fact that you can no longer test out characters offline before buying them. That's a huge one.
I was gonna bring that up as well.
Yeah, like, and there's, I'm sure I'll just list a couple of things.
Sure.
There are no more cheaper characters. They've actually gone up in price. There are no more battle pass experience after each match. You don't level up the battle pass from challenges now. That's a weird one. There's no option to remove team colors in battle. There's no ability to swap neutral and side attacks. There's no more grounded neutral air. There's no leaderboards, no after battle report, kind of like in Smash Bros. Where it tells you, how much you did.
Yep.
No more co-op versus AI. No more offline play. No free-for-all modes with items. These are all things that I feel like were in the original game. I do remember doing some of these things. And then if you go to another one, like they've basically said like the Rift is a lot more difficult. You can't do it by yourself. It has to be with another person. There are over 3 or 4 dozen changes that have been made that people are not happy about. And I feel like this is probably going to deter a lot of people from diving back in.
I believe it.
I feel like that's probably why I haven't dived back in, because I like I said, I saw the PS5 version on the PlayStation Store a couple of days ago. I preloaded the game. I did a couple of offline matches in the training mode, and then the game launched a couple of days ago, and I've had no interest. It feels like, if this is how bad it is, like I might give myself one match to try it and see if it's good, but like it feels like like they've just dialed it back to the point where it's not a viable game to play anymore. It just seems like they neutered it. It's kind of like Nickelodeon All Stars. The first game was a mess. That game was bad, but they ended up redeeming themselves with part 2, and I'm really hoping that this team can do it, because MultiVersus was a great game.
It was.
Now, it's serviceable.
The thing is that everything that I loved about playing it before, I still love it. The animations are awesome. I think the roster is killer. The amount of characters, how different they all play, awesome. The addition of, Jason Voorhees, he plays amazing as like a heavy tank character. I'm having a lot of fun with him. He kind of reminds me of a mix between King K. Rool and Ganondorf from Smash. A lot of genuine fun. I even jumped back in as Batman, and I was like, it was like training wheels, where I was like, oh, I'm clowning kids out right now, and it's a ton of fun when the game operates as it should, as a platform fighter. The directional inputs, they're all great. The amount of different attacks each character has and how they align themselves with each character makes so much sense. Joker having a gun that puts out like a boxing glove spring, it's just a lot of fun, and like there's a lot of creativity that has gone into this game. But then once you get out of each individual match, you're like, oh yeah, there's just plagued with issues. The Rift, oh my goodness, I don't know why they even included this. Yeah, I thought it was going to be something. It wants to be something similar to the I can't remember the name of the mode, but it was in Mortal Kombat, where you kind of go through like piecemeal matches with an AI, and I think it's cool in a way, almost like spirit matches in Smash as well. Cool in a way where they have like different elements that they'll put into each individual match, and you kind of go kind of boring and mediocre in terms of the elements that they kind of do to change things up and everything. I played maybe 3 of them. I was like, no more. I can't do this. I can't even force myself to want to play this, unfortunately. And then I just want to go back to playing against, playing with another person up against 2 players, play 2v2, have a lot of fun. but then the game locks up, and then we're talking about the smaller things like getting the after game reports and stuff like that,
Yeah,
or getting into the battle pass and unlocking stuff. Like half the time I go into the cosmetics to swap out, my banners that I've just unlocked. It doesn't even load. The game
yeah,
just won't even load itself, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I just wish this
yeah. It
game
doesn't make sense to me, like how it was. It felt a lot more complete last year. It
it
felt like
did in a
a
lot
full,
of ways.
and I feel like there's probably some executive interference saying, dial this back. We need to monetize this. We need to, you know, dial these systems back to the point where people are spending more time playing our game. And I don't feel like that's what this game needs to be.
Right.
It was perfect when it launched. And I feel like it was almost perfect. Like it just needed some fine tuning.
Yeah.
And then to hear them say, we're taking offline for the next, 8 months. I was like,
As
what?
as a
And we-
concept, I understood it because, you're coming out into this wide open space of games as a service, and if you're not ready to say, "Okay, this is what our first season's gonna look like, this is what you're gonna get, X, Y, and Z," you're in trouble. So I totally understood where WB kind of wanted to say, "Okay, we're not gonna continue supporting this game knowing that we're gonna hit the end of the, end of the
yeah,
road at a certain point. Let's take it offline, reassess, come back." So that's great. And then even pre-launch coming back and saying, okay, we've got Joker, we've got Jason, we're putting in Agent Smith, you've got little Easter eggs of Powerpuff Girls and Wicked and stuff like that. I'm like,
all
oh
good stuff.
shit, they're actually doing it. They have a plan. We're gonna get new maps, new songs, new tracks, stuff like that. And then it comes out and like that's all great. I'm super on board with new characters and everything that they're offering. But the game's performance, at least on Xbox right now, just doesn't make me want to play. I'm
Yeah.
forcing myself to go on because I want to get in there. I want to get my feet wet and start playing because I've been looking forward to this game for a year at this point. Like
That's insane to me
it's
that,
I want that hole in my heart that Smash has left filled by multiverses, but I'm again similar to XDefiant. I'm hopeful that WB knows what they have on their hands because I do think that they have something inherently special and that they're
yeah,
able to kind of just stick with it and kind of ride the storm right now. Because I do think, yeah, the community is speaking loud. They're saying we're not happy with X, Y, and Z, and I hope that the WB has the fortitude to push through and not just say, well, we did season one, we did season two. We're kind of just going to sunset this game because that would be such a waste of potential.
yeah. There is like a really good game. It's just stuck behind red tape. Let's call it that. I feel like that's
Yeah.
what this. It is a red tape decision, and I don't like it. There is a really great game, and I need to keep saying that because like, I have to convince myself because just seeing all this stuff I read online it makes me not want to invest my time. Time is very precious to me, and more people should understand like your time is currency. So I don't want to be playing bad games. I don't want to be playing games that I adore, and I'm just doing it to put the motions in and experience. Get a good experience out of it. Basically, what I'm trying to say. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a couple weeks. I mean, X Defiance taking up a lot of time. I have a couple of just classic PS2 games I'm just revisiting just for the
Oh,
sake of
nice.
it until I guess Summer Game Fest, and then maybe in July I'll go back to MultiVersus. I feel like with the pushback from the community and with their notes, and there's a lot of really good stuff in the Reddits for these games.
Yeah.
The team will listen and adjust, make some adjustments. But yeah, I mean, for now I'm good. I think I'm good. I feel like no, they
That's
need to they need to win me back because it just feels like yeah, a cash grab. They're trying to prolong the need of a battle pass and unlocking through purchasing things, and that's the opposite of what we were just talking about the X Defiant. So yeah,
yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that is totally fair, and really, I think we're seeing the case of two free to play games coming out and kind of weathering the storm of games as a service right now. Hopefully, both of them can get on a right track and build up a good community over time, but we will see. Bobby, I think that wraps up this episode. I know we've got plenty more coming up in the next coming weeks. We've got next week we'll do a little pre-summer game fest check-in, see temperature check, and see how we're feeling about the whole thing. And then obviously we're going to be heading down to LA, like we mentioned before, going down, checking out the showcases, checking out some games. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hope everyone out there, you guys keep locked in, because we've got a whole bunch coming at you. But until then, Bobby, where can people keep up with you online?
Just look me up on Twitter, B Pashalides. Follow my LinkedIn, or not my LinkedIn, my link tree.
You can go on
Everything's there.
LinkedIn too, I'm sure.
Man, I haven't used that website in months. It just feels like I'm getting bombarded with some really weird calls and spam messages. So I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Linktree me. Everything's there. Spotify account, our webpage, our YouTube, our TikTok, which I feel like is probably underutilized. So we're gonna try and figure that out. But yeah, we're everywhere.
We'll make use of it for sure. Awesome. And yeah, as for me, you can find me across the internet at SVicVary. And as always, we appreciate you tuning into this episode. And until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye bye.